Hello and welcome to Carlos Castaneda, the Wheel of Time, the wisdom of the shamans of ancient Mexico. Welcome to this week's edition. Toltec shamanism, sorcery, Nagualism, from Don Juan. The fight is right here on earth. We are human creatures. Who knows what's waiting for us, or what kind of power we may have. So, why set the limits at our thoughts, at what other people tell us about what we're capable of, like the scientists and the self-help teachers and gurus and all that? I mean, why stop there? Why even stop at your own imagination? Who knows what powers we might have, what abilities, what skills? We can take certain examples from history, but even these examples are historical instances, and the past doesn't equal the future. The present is in the middle of the past and the future. That's what we were capable of. This is what we are capable of now, and this is what we will or may be capable of in the future. Because novelty is a consistent feature of the universe, of the totality, the evolution of consciousness, of manifestation, of perception and awareness, which are, I'm going to go into in a minute, one unit. So, and we don't know what's waiting for us. In our ancient past, as hunter-gatherers, we had to fight, or at least confront, bears, wild animals, wild cats, and so on, depending on our environment. But it would be almost guaranteed that part of our daily activity would be hunting, and certainly coming across like wild creatures. Primitive man had to deal with such challenges because he had to survive. So he had to gather wild plants and hunt animals. Hunter-gatherers. So, well, we don't have to do that anymore. These creatures are not waiting for us in the middle of the city, obviously. Unless one escapes from the zoo, of course, which does happen. We don't know, I mean, with the advent of our artificial intelligence and with the encounters with extraterrestrial beings or other entities in other dimensions that people who take psychedelics and who are into shamanism talk about, allies, spirits, flyers and so on. We don't know what's waiting for us in these other dimensions, because Toltec sorcery shamanism goes beyond the known. It goes beyond the tonal. It goes beyond the everyday order, beyond ordinary reality to non-ordinary reality. And in non-ordinary reality, non-ordinary things happen, extraordinary things happen. We meet extraordinary beings, creatures, demons, angels, challenges, adversaries, and so on. Once we confront an inner demon, becomes our ally. So, the world of people goes up and down, and people go up and down with their world. Warriors have no business following the ups and downs of their fellow men. There's no point getting attached to the comings and goings of ordinary people because they're doing ordinary things in the ordinary world, and, you know, good luck to them. But for those who are seeking something different, something more esoteric, alternative, the warrior's way, they're going to have to go beyond the mundane, beyond the ordinary. And that absolutely requires to be an outsider. Not to care about the whims of society, of politics, politicians. I mean, we can be have a healthy concern for the way the world is going, but if we get too immersed or enmeshed, tangled up in the world of politics, it could so easily hinder our cultivation as practitioners and warriors, because we'll be spending all of our time and energy on the tonal, because that world requires a full commitment, and there's all kinds of nasty things going on in people, and external war strategies and military coups and things like that, revolutions and so on. So even if you're on the other side, if you're a bit of a lefty, anti-capitalist, then that can also take up so much of your attention. It did with me in the past. But, you can see that it's not necessarily going in a positive direction, because the formerly oppressed, when they get into power, become the oppressors. So there's still a lot of negativity and anger and power games going on there in the world, in the ups and downs of the ordinary world, because that's just the way the world is. It's like what Nietzsche says, the will to power. The ordinary person's will to power may be to acquire more and more material things, or to make more and more money, acquire more possessions, and gain social status and recognition, fame, and so on. But they're limited goals as warrior sorcerers, because they don't go beyond the known. Even if you were to become an astronaut and go in a rocket into space, or a shuttle spaceship, you're still not leaving this physical dimension. You may be going somewhere else in this one, somewhere else in three-dimensional time in space, but you're not transcending the physical dimension. You're still immersed in the world of matter. And some may say that the universe is all material. It's just different vibrations, different frequencies, different ranges, all occupying the same space. But what I'm saying by material is we're concentrating on the most dense, the most gross aspects of ourselves when we focus exclusively on social matters and social concerns. And of course, this was one of the main reasons why esoteric schools in the East and West, with Christian mystics, Sufis in Islam, and Hindu mystics in the Kush in India, and Buddhist monks, Shaolin monks, for example, or Taoist monks, went, if they were part of the forest tradition, they went into the forest, and they cut off contact with society and relationships, so their minds would be free of distractions. Because we can observe the effects in ourselves of a life of stress and distractions. It takes too much of our time and energy to spend it all in the tonal. We have to open up to the Nagual if we want to experience mystery, magic, and wonder, because the world is richer and more mysterious than we can suppose, as Terence McKenna might say. So the world includes everything. I mean, in ultimate reality, it's non-dual. There's no in here as opposed to out there. So there's no spiritual as opposed to material. There's no soul as opposed to matter. No spirit as opposed to just pure matter. Dead matter without any essence of consciousness. It's all one thing. It's all one totality, one great big web of consciousness and activity, energy. So we have to always bear in mind the bigger picture. That's why I recommend spending time in silence, meditating, doing cultivation exercises like Qigong, martial arts, yoga, anything that expands your awareness and gets you on the right track to developing the inner life until the inner life and the outer life are one. Okay? So, Don Juan, the core of our being is the act of perceiving, and the magic of our being is the act of awareness. Perception and awareness are a single, functional, inextricable unit. So like I said, they're all one thing. Awareness, the field of awareness, is where all perceptual activity can take place. So it includes the tonal and nagual. It's all one world, one field of awareness. It's not just a world as some ball hurling in space that you can photograph by satellite. It's the entire world of matter, energy, information, intelligence, and so on, in all its dimensions, in all its beauty and ugliness, goodness and badness. It's all one unit. So perception and awareness are really one thing. So, and the ultimate is realizing that through being it and being the totality. That's no mean feat. Like say, it's a very profound and serious matter. So the core of our being is perception, and the magic of our being is awareness. It's magical because we don't know how it came about. I mean, even with all the science of consciousness studies, they only give material explanations or mathematical equations or theories or hypotheses about consciousness, like Daniel Dennett and his crew and Richard Dawkins and the like, tend to give more material explanations and say that that matter, atoms, and electrons have no awareness, have no consciousness. But the atom, in a sense, is just a construct. You can see it under the microscope, but they don't call themselves atoms. We don't know what it's like to experience being simply an atom because we're made up of trillions of them, billions of them, and more electrons and subatomic particles. But all of this has awareness. I mean, it has to. If it's one consciousness, everything is conscious. Everything is aware. The most inert substance has some form of consciousness. It might be relatively rudimentary in comparison to the human brain, mind. So we don't know how consciousness has come about. It's very, very serious. But that's what makes it magical, because it's a mystery. We don't know. And we don't need to know. We just can appreciate the magic of it, right? We choose only once. We choose either to be warriors or to be ordinary men. A second choice does not exist. Not on this earth. So when we break it down to its utmost binary simplicity, on one hand we are ordinary people, human beings, subject to the trials and tribulations and sufferings of the human condition, and on the other hand we have this other side of us which we can develop and cultivate, the warrior. And we choose only once, but that decision, that choice comes always in this moment. In this moment we can decide to be an ordinary person and be prone to self-pity, greed, anger, and so on, sentimentality, or even some of the things that are associated positively with the human condition. Or we can decide to be pitiless warriors, having no mercy for our weaknesses, you know. And if the true compassion then arises out of that, see, that's what I feel. So we're more concerned with feeling, because yes, we have to face our shadow sides. We have to face our dark sides. And we have to admit that all the badness that's going on in the world is just unilluminated ignorance. And if you and I are Jesus and Hitler, God and the devil, then we don't have to act in ways that promote suffering anymore. We can be free of violence. No positive, no negative, but a clear, crystal clear centre, which is non-dual. It's a neutral position. You know, that's where the warrior comes from. Neutral position, neutrality, dispassion. So that choice is made only once, but it's made in this moment and the next moment and the next. The warrior's way offers a man a new life, and that life has to be completely new. He can't bring to that new life his ugly old ways. So the old bad habits, sloppy behaviours, dysfunctional behaviours, all of that has to be cleaned up. When we clean up our connecting link with spirit, with intent, we have to clear our own backyard. There's no point saying, oh, I'm going to change the world, when you can't even get your own life in order, get your own shit together, be impeccable in your own life, have everything in balance in the 6 domains of being, have everything in balance with the goal set in the ultimate, self-realization, enlightenment, freedom, achieving the totality of oneself, immortality, or gaining various kinds of supernatural abilities and so on. So all the ugly old ways, I mean, all of this has to be cleaned up. Our dysfunctions, neuroses, negative patterns, and so on. And this is where therapy can come in, but it requires daily self-cultivation. I mean, a healer can help and can give advice, but can't really do the healing for you, because the healing happens when you confront your fears, when you disassemble your bad habits. More energy can get in because you're not restricted by patterns that go against life, that go against energy. I mean, from the non-dual perspective, nothing can really go against life, you see. So it's a matter of having a clear perception of what's going on, trying to attain that non-dual understanding in every moment. But that comes with time, with being more present. It requires formal practice before you can just do it on your own, unless you're extremely lucky and it just happens to you by grace. You know, these are rare cases. Warriors always take a first event of any series as the blueprint or the map of what is going to develop for them subsequently. Okay, well, it's always better to have a plan even if you don't follow it completely. You know, you need to have some idea of how you're going to go about this, how you're going to build your life, construct your path. Don't go with the attitude of the hardcore traveller, for example, that says, I'm here at sunrise, but I don't know where I'm going to be at sunset, that kind of thing. I mean, okay, for a certain kind of person who's experienced enough to be that spontaneous, and can control themselves, not get into unnecessary bother or trouble, he can afford to be more spontaneous because his skill has developed. The body knows what to do. But the rest of us need a more solid foundation and plan. So you take the first event of any series as a blueprint of what's going to happen next. Basically, if this works, then if the first step of the plan works, then the second step should work, and then the third step you build, judiciously. It's about being judicious, being, again, the magic word, diligence, being diligent in your life. Knowing what works for you and what doesn't, and basically taking away the bad shit, all the stuff that doesn't work anymore, and doing what is effective with cool, emotionless efficiency, ruthlessness. Thanks for listening.